You are listening to That Big CEO Energy, where we talk all things business, life, marriage, and push you to a new edge of discovering what that big CEO energy means for you. Listen, I understand that we have barriers that we carry from when we were once employees, and those have impacted us as we continue to build our businesses. I'm here to walk alongside you and give you encouragement through interviews with friends and other women in business who have broken down those barriers and paved their own way. Tune in with me as we uncover some of the unconscious things that we do that keep us from building that big CEO energy we've always dreamed about. Let's dive in. Welcome back. I am so excited to introduce this series to you. If you have been on a path of self-discovery or just feeling like you need a change or feeling like maybe you're at a point in your business that is requiring change or pivot from you, then I welcome you to join me in this series. I have taken a leap of faith to move into a different part of my business, a different kind of calling. And I'm not sure what that looks like. I'm not sure what it will turn out to be, if it'll even evolve into anything. But what I know for sure is that it's requiring some inner work from me. And if nothing else, this is a self-development, self-improvement journey that is now part of my business development. So I hope that you will join me and take this little journey with me. And I hope that you'll get some inner peace and some self-discovery from me opening up about my journey for this inner work. This is the part 1 Inner Work Soul Journey series. And this is what I'm calling it. And I'm calling it this because I am taking this time to invest in myself, to go really, really deep into my soul and figure out kind of what I want to be when I grow up. And I have all of these amazing opportunities and I have all of this amazing growth that I have done. And when I use the term when I grow up, it means when I arrive. And arrival is not this destination, right? It is this lifelong journey, this lifelong way of learning. And so if there's anything that I have learned, me wanting to arrive means that I am stepping into my whole self. I am showing up entirely about who I am and what I require from people and what they require from me, and living on a path that I feel full. I feel like I have arrived in my soul. And so I am going to share small parts and pieces from coaching sessions that I have taken as of recently with Laura Kelly, and I'll leave her information in the show notes. And she is like, I call her my personal cheerleader. I call her my true girlfriend, that when I need to cry, when I need to work things out in my own head, when I need to feel like I have someone that has my back, she is it. And first of all, this is my ode to her as a thank you, because she is incredible and she has been so authentic through her own journey as a coach and her own way of showing up, that you following her or hearing from her only encourages you, me, everyone that is around her to show up the same way. And so I would love to just share some of the small pieces. And you'll see as we come back to this Inner Work Soul Journey series, each part gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And so this first part is pretty topical, and I'm going to do my best to sort of work backwards and sort of help you understand sort of where I was in that journey. And so just to paint the picture for you in this first session that I did with Laura, it was pretty topical because we're just kind of getting in the middle of it. And I remember saying to her that I was really willing to do the work and I was really willing to get uncomfortable. And listening back to it, and you'll see this as it develops into the next parts, listening back to it, I can hear myself still hesitant. So let's listen in. So yeah, I've offloaded that. And so now it's just prioritizing what's next. And I think for me, I want to be living in this space of being really uncomfortable in such a way that the uncomfortability brings me joy. And the things that I put out is like, yeah, this is really fucking scary, but if it flaps, cool. You know, like I think this year, the resounding theme for me is just being courageous and learning, you know, like just, I want to learn what works, what doesn't work. And if I fuck up along the way, great.
Wow.
You know, I have nothing else to lose.
Come in with the opposite of that mindset. Like, this needs to work. It needs to work now. It needs to work fast. I don't have time to mess up. It's so much harder to work with someone who isn't willing to make any type of mess or, you know, do like the hard stuff. And so just hearing that what you're saying is like, I'm really capable of taking on challenges and doing what needs to be done. Like, you're already in such a great spot for what's about to unfold. So.
Yeah. And, you know, I think for me, I've already sort of experienced failure in my business. And so that's like a cool space for me to live in. Like, I'm like, yes, this didn't work. Okay, on to the next thing. Like, it doesn't bother me one bit that shit just hits the fan and I have to start over. So I'm like, awesome. Another opportunity to just do something different and out of the box. And if still nobody comes for it, awesome. Like, I think I have a unique perspective on social media where it's like somebody random is going to see that and it's going to be unexpected and they're going to need that. And if it's just one person, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need the crowds of thousands or, you know, my next big thing to be like, nerd, so you can make 6 figures in 30 days. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. No, you didn't.
Right.
Like, you just didn't. You didn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they did. I'm like friends with a couple people who make those 100K launches in like a weekend and stuff, but it's just not everybody's story. And it's also not the most motivating or empowering piece of messaging when that is like so far from what you're trying to create. Like,
yeah. And I think
I love the way you talk about how you have this unique perspective, because that's exactly it. It's unique to you and it is going to find somebody who resonates with that.
Yeah. And, you know, I think a lot of what is missed too is the individuals that can make $100,000 in a weekend for a launch or whatever. They still failed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there were those times where those launches, like, they took a nosedive.
Right.
And like, absolutely. I want to live in that space. And I also I think my audience is those people that literally are showing up and being like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know how to do something. And I need the baby steps. Like, I need the introduction, slow down. Like, what is my mindset? Like, what does that need to be like? because that's a huge part of it. And a lot of people think that they can just like, oh, if I quit corporate and jump into a business, everything will be fine. And it's like, well, there's a whole other slew of things that come like in your little suitcase of trauma that you're leaving corporate with.
Right.
you know?
I also believe that people they'll reach like an issue that often is with the mindset, but the thing that they buy is the thing that they think will just bypass all of this like discomfort in the mind. And it's like, I just need a strategy for, selling in the cold DMs. And it's like, I'll put my money towards that, because if I learn that thing, then I don't have to feel any of the yucky feelings that I've had about, me being scared to do what's next, or just feeling like overwhelmed, or beating myself up for being lazy or being unsure. Like, and the people who are selling those, like, here, just, this is the one-stop solution for you. They are relying on selling to that client to be like, this is the reason that your sales haven't been productive in the past. This is the missing component to that live launch, right? So it's a very different space to then be one of the people who's kind of going like, all right, listen, it's not just about buying that next like leveling up tool, because we've all been there before, where you go to, you take that workshop, you take that course, you try it out for a bit. It doesn't really work maybe the way that they said it would, or the way that it worked in the success stories that they shared. And then it's like, okay, well, I guess that's not the problem. And you do that over and over and over and over again, until the people who I end up working with, not here in one-on-one coaching, but more in like when I do trainings and stuff like that, they are at the point where all of that has piled on so hard and so heavy that it's led them to be like, oh, I'm not meant for this. Like, I don't have what it takes I'm not one of the people who can be the success story. And it's because tactic after tactic after tactic didn't work to get them where they wanted to be.
Okay, so we unpacked a lot there in that little section. But one of the things that I wanted to reflect back to myself was, when I had arrived to this coaching, I really believed that I was capable of making a mess, that I wanted to play in the mess, that I wanted to live dangerously in the mess. And I was full on britches, like, yes, I want to do this. And what I soon discovered through sort of these next parts in this next journey that you'll see come out is, I'm scared to live in the mess right now for whatever reason. And I'm sure that those will still continue to come up. But one of those is I was scared to fail. And so I just reflect back, and, the conversation carried on about getting into sort of where I want to play. And where I like to play is working with people that are scared to leave corporate, or are getting ready to leave corporate and pivoting their business, right? And so in this, you can kind of hear me working through this and trying to understand, like, where is my target people? And ultimately, I have to understand that whoever will be, and whoever shows up, and it will be really lovely. And so I start to uncover this through my journey. So then we got into what is going right. And through this conversation of what is going right, I, went through a lot of the topical things, and then the question of, what changes do you see to make yourself better, came. And I don't think I was prepared for that. So let's tune in and listen to that.
Okay. Yeah. So if that's what's going great, where do you want to go? What changes could you see coming into your life to make things better?
I think for me, it's sorting out a lot of the noise of what society expects you to do and how you're supposed to show up as a business owner and sell your things, right? It's like very robotic and like you must live by the algorithm and do X, Y, and Z. And I don't like that. I don't like the feeling of feeling like, and don't get me wrong, my business has never really had to depend on social media. And so it's a little bit interesting for me in the sense of like, yes, I want to be doing social media and I want to put out things that matter, and that by some random off chance, if somebody is, you know, searching through a hashtag, whatever that is, that they come across my things and they're like, I can really resonate with her because I'm here at this point in time, you know, too. And so I don't want to have the expectation from them that they need to come and like buy something and do something in order to live in the same space as me and like be filled with words that I can share with them or help that I can provide them. Right. It just feels icky to me when we're being forced as a society that like, if you have a business, you must be on social media and must do all the things. And it's like, I mean, do you though? Because if you're truly showing up authentically, like those people that I want in my life, like they'll find me. They will. I mean, and it's going to be when they need me the most, not when it like, everybody else is buying this product, so I got to buy this product too because, oh my gosh, what if it sells out and cart's closing in 24 hours? Holy crap, I might as well just put it on my credit card and I'll just be in debt and it'll be fine.
Yeah, like, false urgency and sales tactics and live launch countdowns.
And it feels gross.
Yeah.
You know, and I think for me, finding the balance of like, how can I not be on one end of the spectrum of because it feels icky, I don't show up. And being this weird overseller, like in your face, must post 2 times a day. Like I want to live in the middle lane. Right. You know, and if it generates things that people feel happy about, great. And if not, they don't have to be there. Like you don't have to follow me around. You really don't. Like, it's okay. So that's an area I think I need to work on because I'm so very much right now, like, I don't even want to show up because what's the point? I don't think I really have anything to say.
Is that true?
It's not true. It is definitely a false belief.
Okay. Just making sure that you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think where it comes from, my business is in such a point where like I'm doing this pick and choosy thing, right? Like I get to pick and choose because I have so much stability. And it's like, well, I got to be careful that I'm not putting out too many things in the world where people are like, oh my God, I need you and your services now. And I'm like, oops, sorry. Like I'm full or that doesn't resonate with me. And then they're like, well, where am I going to find someone? You know, like I just came. So I think that's where that comes from is like, I don't think it's truly, and I know it's not truly, I don't have things to say, but it's like, again,
you don't have anything to sell
that
right now.
I just don't,
no.
You know,
I was in that place 100% in my photography business where I had such a reputation. I was so good at it. My marketing was fire. And I was booking up by the August of the year before the wedding season. And so any marketing that I could put out from January to July in a year was rendering in people sending me inquiries that I'm like, no, I'm full this whole year and most of next year. So it started to become like, why am I putting in so many logs on this fire when I can't be here to watch them burn? Like it became that wasn't necessary.
Yeah. I've definitely lived in that area over I think my last post was like December. Well, not December, September.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know. And I think initially when I had said, okay, I'm going to come off social media and I'm going to take that time and work on that big CEO energy, figure out what that is and what I need to be doing there. And then it just like, I was so inundated in my business that there was no coming out of that. There was no, I think I used the excuse of, okay, we're going to go figure out what that big CEO energy is. I used that excuse because I was in the midst of burnout. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to pivot and do something fun and fresh instead of all of this social media fluff.
Mm-hmm.
When really it was like, no, you need to actually get rid of some of your clients. Is really,
and you need to actually rest from this burnout, not rest through the disguising of creating a new product.
Yes. So much to unpack, right? Because it just continues to snowball. But I think I really was yearning for just giving someone this download of my brain. And if you follow me on social media, you know that I have been off and on social media and I struggle with social media because it's just not a place where I feel like I can be me, where I feel like I can be authentic. Because a lot of times, to be very honest, and maybe it's because of my following or the people that I do follow, it tends to feel very salesy. And I don't ever want to be like salesy, you know, and when I say salesy, there's obviously this negative sort of connotation behind my voice. And I think when I said, I don't think I have anything to say, I was shortchanging myself. And I was shortchanging all of you who show up with me week after week to serve in a way that I don't have to have it all figured out. And it's amazing that, you know, I walked through that journey and I was able to sort of, even when I'm listening back, sort of uncover some of the struggles that I still am working on. So this next part was a question of what drives you? And that is a question that I now show up every day and say to myself, like, what drives you? And pick something each day that I choose to drive with purpose. And so I walked through my journey of leaving corporate, and most of you have heard that journey. And then I started to talk about what is the mission of what I'm doing here? What is the mission of I have things to say? And I just want you to listen to it because it still gives me goosebumps that I just said this because it came from my heart. And then Laura reflected something back to me. So tune in and listen. I think for me, what drives me is helping women create businesses that are authentic to who they are, that are platforms and areas of business that people crave to want to come and work for because they see you, they see how you act, they see how you treat people, and they want to be involved in that.
See, this is where we can't deny that you have so much to say and so much value to give. It makes me wonder whether your social media strategy, if you will, is going to be more productive by you sharing what you really think, what you really feel, what you want to have as that shift for the people who are finding your content, like the embodiment of who you are as your core. Like, if that is something that you believe in, and the words we use are not by accident, when we say something, there's so much more to that. Like, I could ask you that question. What is it? What embodies the core of you? And that is its own box with many. You could go as deep in there. You could keep searching endlessly and you will always find something new that's in there.
Yeah.
But if what you're craving is using social media as an extension of your business, but not in a salesy and, in your face, high pressured sales tactic way, it sounds like there's a desire to have your social media strategy be in dropping in incredible value and building connection, while on the side, you continue to do what you do, maybe like raising prices as you go. And, oh, that's not going to happen if there's a belief there that says, well, I don't have a lot to say about these topics, or I don't see a value in this. There sounds like there's just so much value there.
Powerful, right? I mean, there's just so much to unpack, to continue to unpack. The next section, she continues to reflect back about, a little bit of my difficulty of feeling like I'm not the person to say this. Like, I don't think I'm qualified. And really, it's about being your own case study. And everybody sees the highlight reel. Everybody sees the glitz and the glamour, but what they don't realize is all of the hard work that has transpired on the back end to be able to get somebody to be confident enough and to show up willingly enough to be able to display the hard work. So let's walk through this together and you can kind of hear how that develops.
All of the hard work is not when people are looking. Like, this is deep, deep work. And it may be, you may find yourself like needing to go to therapy, right? And I don't want to be the qualified person to be like, you should probably explore therapy. I'm just an advocate for therapy. Like, I think everybody in the entire world needs to go to therapy. I'm just saying. But at the same time, it's like, how can I help them explore things from a lens that is not going to like make them feel condemned for not doing this before, right? Because I think part of what I struggled with was, how did I not see this before? Like, how did I let somebody trample all over me for years? Like, how dumb. I'm smarter than that. I don't ever want anyone to feel like that. When they're either reading my content or showing up in a space with me, when they're releasing, sort of like their trauma. I don't know. I think there's still some work that I need to do to really uncover, like, how can I say it in such a way that people feel empowered and don't feel ick,
Yeah. The best part is that, like, you're the case study for the work that you want to be helping other people do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you finding your voice in that way is a necessary step on the path to you being able to help other people do that.
So I wanted to walk you all through that because it is just, again, this very powerful thing that is happening. And I am so grateful to Laura for her willingness to sit with me and hear the rumblings of my brain for an hour and help me make sense of them. But really, ultimately, I want to be able to start talking about the hard stuff. And the word that keeps showing up for me is the surrender piece. And I am in a time of surrendering. And so the next episode, if you want to come back next week and tune in, I will have a little affirmation for you if you are in a season of surrendering to arrive. And I hope that I can continue to serve you here and make a mess with you and sit in the mess with you. And, if you are struggling to figure out how to pivot out of your corporate job and want to work through some of the mental things that you need to discover and continue to evolve in order to build a team or set your business apart from every other business in terms of mindset, then let's chat. Let's have a conversation. And I'm just willing to be open and share my story to you on some of the things that I had to overcome in hopes that you will be able to get a glimpse of how you could start to reframe and adapt sort of how we're working through this in our minds. So I hope that today's podcast episode served you in some way and encourages you that if you are thinking about maybe getting a coach, and listen, coach for me, you will also discover in the coming episodes, coach for me was just this kind of dirty word. And so I've overcome that, and I'm willing to say, that I am helping and helping to shape individuals that are needing just a little bit of guidance, a little bit of coaching. And so I want you to be encouraged to not be afraid of getting a coach or saying the word, because it isn't icky. It is there for you when you need it. So I hope that you will tune in with me, and I hope that this series continues to serve you, and I will catch you on the next one.
Thanks for tuning into the show today. If you heard something that helped you, I would love it if you would leave a review and share it with your friends. This helps more people just like you become inspired to move the needle of their big CEO energy into a positive direction. If you would like to learn more about how I can help you streamline and position your business for growth, or lead your business as a CEO, feel free to jump into the show notes with all of the links to find me. And don't forget to head over to Instagram so we can be pals.